revised.
Sorry, got it.
I'll just start over. Requested approval of a resolution adopting revised boundaries for supervisorial district boundaries for the county of Modoc following the 2020 federal census in accordance with the California Elections Code section 21500.
Assistant County Administrative Officer Tiffany Martinez. So this resolution before you today is what will be setting the supervisorial district boundaries for the process that we've occurred throughout the last several months. I'm going to turn it over to Flo, who will provide a short presentation. And in your packet, you will see that there is the legal descriptions that are also included, which would be Exhibit A to the resolution. There also is the final map included in the packet, which would also be an exhibit to that resolution. We do note that there is a typo on the resolution that needs to be corrected in this last paragraph of the county name, so we will have that corrected. And if you would like to go ahead.
Great, thank you, Tiffany. Happy to be here. I'm Kent Martin with FLO Analytics, and we also have our team that I'd like to just reintroduce: Catherine Modoc, our communications specialist, Kate Doran, our senior GIS analyst, and Rebecca Wright, planner for us. There was, when we presented the last supervisor meeting, there was a question as to the area of each of the districts in this final map proposal, as well as the number of miles of roads in each district. And so we'd like to go ahead and share that information with you, along with just a review of the maps and kind of where we are in this process. So I'm going to ask Kate to present her screen, and we will share that with you quickly. So if we look on the next slide, just a brief review again of kind of where we've come and where we've been. We present, as I mentioned, on November 30th, which was a public hearing to show the final map. In this case, it was map B that was selected based upon supervisor comments as well as public input. We did receive, the county received one additional piece of input in the interim between November 30th until now. I believe it was in early December. There was an email sent by a member of the public who also wanted the supervisors to consider map B, which is this map. So that was good. And so as you can see in the timeline where we are, this is certainly your time to consider this final map. We're no longer calling it map B, but we're calling it the final redistricting map. Next slide, please. And at this time, I will pass it over to Kate Doran just to do a real quick description again of where the county was in 2010 and where we are population-wise in 2020, as well as show those stats on acreage and miles within each county. Excuse me, within each district. Okay.
Thanks. So in 2010, according to the census data, the overall range between the highest population district and the lowest is that 9.1%. So under 10%, which is what we were looking at. Sometimes we'll refer to this as the deviation, that range between high and low. So in 2020, just as a recap, we had 7.3% over in District 2 and 9.4% under in District 5, which would have been great to balance between the two, but we've looked at the maps and there's no population in the blocks between 2 and 5. So we did kind of a shift from 4 to 5 and then from 2 to 3 and 4 to kind of balance all of that out. So the final map has that range of 8.4%, which is under 10%, which is great. The range comes from districts 3 and 4. And both of those are under 5%, so that's perfect. We do have statistics, and I won't run through them all, but the presentation, I believe, is posted, and this is being recorded as well. So you've got your final statistics for demographics. This is what the final map looks like. We reviewed this before, but you've got the final map districts are the ones in color. The current district boundaries that we are changing are in the dark blue line. And then any of those areas that are changing have the kind of crosshatch lines on them. So really the biggest thing is, districts 4 and 2, kind of extending all the way to that northern border. Almost that entire area is unpopulated, but it does follow along a road. So just updates to make the boundaries more, more easily able to be described in just by using school district boundaries or roads or lake boundaries, things like that. The biggest change that we were talking about before was either bringing part of the Canby community into District 5 or part of the neighborhood area south of California Pines into District 5. And that is what the final map is that final, that neighborhood south of California Pines. And then in the Alturas area, we have some areas moving from District 2 to District 3 that are south of the highway. So that whole area is kind of part of District 3 now. 2 doesn't really gain anything from 3. We're just kind of giving to from 2 to 3, and then an area inside the city boundary from District 3 to District 4 to balance that back out a bit as well. And we have more statistics that I also don't really need to go through, but the citizen voting age population is what you would look at if you were trying to create a majority minority population. Still interesting, but we didn't need to really use the data for this process. And all of the districts are just as compact as they were previously. And road miles for current and final map districts, I pulled together, not just the total miles per district, because just keeping District 4 in mind, I know we're adding a lot of area to District 4, but all of that northern part of District 4 is unpopulated per the census anyway. So just kind of breaking these out into unpopulated versus populated in case anybody was interested. Doesn't mean you don't have to drive through unpopulated areas to get to the next populated area, but just breaking that out in case it's helpful. So you can see the current districts and then what the final map districts would be for each of those. And then we've got the area as well in acres. So you can see something like District 4, which I think is the biggest change, jumps up in acres. But if you look at the populated census block acres, it stays around the same. So, just kind of breaking those out in case it's interesting to folks. So these data are all going to be sent to you as well. I believe that's it.
Any questions from the board? Don't see any questions. At this time, I did want to offer Modoc County's thank you to Kent, Kate, Rebecca, and Catherine. Even though we have only met through the benefit of Zoom over the last umpteen months, it's been very enjoyable working with you, and thank you for preparing this for us.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. We've enjoyed meeting you as well and working on this project and working with your county leaders on this project. So appreciate the opportunity.
Questions, comments, or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Been moved and seconded to approve. Any comments?
I just
Supervisor Byrne?
wanted to add to your thanks to this firm. I've watched a lot of the other counties through their redistricting, and it's a lot of the counties, it's very controversial, even with the firm that's doing them. And I want to thank you for keeping this so drama-free. And it's like Supervisor Coe said, it's been a pleasure working with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other board questions or comments? Any public comments?
I do have one to enter into the record, just so that we have it there. It was received from a Jim Hayes. It says Modoc County Board of Supervisors, in regards to the proposed redistricting of the demographic boundaries of Modoc County, I would respectfully request that you consider selection of draft map B. Draft map A would have the effect of displacing one of our board members due to a very slight boundary shift. We currently have a very strong and cohesive board and would like to keep that balance intact. Thank you for your consideration, Jim Hayes, President of the Modoc County Board of Education.
You. Seeing no further comments. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, Planning Department items. 3A, consideration action, requesting approval of resolution to approve parcel map PM 2021-01 and approved to rezone assessor's parcel number 005-110-007-000.
You've got the resolution in front of you. Action, again, this is just a homestead split. Residential parcel is being split off from agricultural ground as allowed. Ordinance